Hi everyone. In the ever-evolving world of K-pop, we are often faced with the reality that anything can become news, whether it is true or not. One recent example is the spread of false rumors about BTS's Jungkook claiming that he is in critical condition. When this news first broke, ARMY, who are supposed to be a solid and intelligent community, were immediately torn between anxiety and anger. But is it true that our reaction to this fake news shows how easily we are fooled? Or are we overreacting to the idea that every rumor must be debunked? The rumor was quickly quelled by Taehyung, who clarified through his social media posts that Jungkook was fine. Of course, this brought a sense of relief to many, but are we putting too much trust in our idols to solve these kinds of problems? Isn't it time for us, as consumers of news in the digital world, to be more careful and not constantly rely on our idols to correct every lie that is circulating? What is really happening here is that we as ARMY, and society in general, are underestimating the massive impact of the spread of fake news. We never ask ourselves, why did this kind of news come up? Or what really drove people to create such news? Instead, we focus on clarification from Taehyung and big hit music. While this is important, we should realize that we should not place the full responsibility on BTS or big hit music when it comes to combating misinformation. We should all play an active role in combating the spread of fake news, not just expect them to correct every false news that comes our way. Perhaps we should ask ourselves, how effective is our response to false information? When Taehyung released a short statement on social media, we all felt relieved. But in reality, what are we doing to prevent similar rumors from coming up again? Why aren't we focusing more on the importance of digital literacy among K-pop fans, rather than just focusing on the follow-up from the agency or the idol? Are we really paying attention to the impact that this fake news can have on the mental health of the idols and fans themselves? Furthermore, can't we see that this phenomenon illustrates how dependent we have become on social media for clarification? We are putting too much trust in platforms that often manipulate information for their own interests. Are we idolizing BTS members or their managers too much that we forget to evaluate the situation critically and objectively? Let's dare to think further. Maybe it's time for all of us, as smart K-pop fans, to not only rely on one party to provide clarification. We must realize that the spread of fake news is a common problem that requires deeper understanding and collective action. And if we continue to let our idols take care of this problem, we are only prolonging the unhealthy culture of dependence on our idols. So, the question is, will we, as K-pop fans, continue to be passive consumers, just waiting for statements from our idols and their agencies? Or will we be more active in fighting fake news in our own way? A question that should trigger deep reflection for every ARMY out there. At this point, we must ask, why do we always consider clarification from idols as the final answer? Isn't it clear that the world of social media cannot be relied on as the main source of information? When Taehyung gave his clarification through his social media, he not only cleared up the issue about Jungkook, but also sent a message that fans should be smarter in choosing the information they consume. Yet, we still rely on them to reset every misperception. Sure, we're all relieved to know Jungkook is okay, but let's look at it more critically. Doesn't this just show that we're relying too much on our idols' responses? We, as news consumers, should be able to pick and choose what we believe without having to wait for clarification that comes too late. And what's worse, this is a recurring pattern. Fake news doesn't just happen once, but repeatedly in this world. Doesn't this prove that we, as ARMYs, need to do more than just follow every post from our idols? The role of social media in spreading misinformation is enormous. This is where we see another major problem. These platforms often do not carefully filter or verify information before it is shared. We as users should be smarter in filtering what we consume. Unfortunately, the viral culture on social media fosters the impression that the faster information spreads, the more valid it is. This is a dangerous mindset, and in the end, we as fans become victims of the panic caused by fake news. As BTS fans who claim to be smart, we should not be so easily trapped by news that is not clear about its truth. The relief we feel after Taehyung's clarification should be accompanied by a new awareness that we have too often handed over the responsibility to verify information to others. why not start with ourselves? What if we become more active agents of change in improving the way we filter the information we receive? We live in a very fast-paced digital era, where information moves in an instant. On the one hand, this gives us the power to share and receive information quickly, but on the other hand, it also has negative impacts. We are so quick to share what we find interesting without considering whether the information can affect others or even add unnecessary worries. As fans, we should not only act as information disseminators, but also as filters that can help filter out the truth. This also applies in the context of the rumors spreading about Jungkook. We are too quick to assume that information coming from social media sources is fact. However, we know that these platforms are far from ideal when it comes to fact-checking. When we believe and share information without checking its validity, we are actually contributing to making the situation worse. This incident should be a lesson that everyone who is connected to the virtual world has a moral responsibility to be more careful. But here is one big question. Do we really want change? Are we really ready to take on more responsibility in ensuring that the information we spread is accurate? Or do we just want to continue being spectators waiting for our idols to solve every problem that comes our way? If we continue to entrust this matter to others, we will only repeat the same pattern, believing things without a clear basis and relying on clarification from more powerful parties. Look at how this situation has developed. Taehyung's clarification is important, but why should we always wait for someone to give us an answer when we have access to find out the truth ourselves? There are many more credible information channels that can be used to confirm a news. Why don't we take advantage of that? This passive attitude will only make things worse in the future. What if the next false information is not only about our idol's health condition, but about something more serious, such as a political or social situation? Will we always wait for clarification from others? Shouldn't we be more critical and independent in filtering information? Then, there is also a big impact that we must consider: the mental health of our idols. When rumors like this circulate, not only the fans are anxious, but also the idols who are targeted. They have to face great pressure because they have to constantly provide clarification, while they should be able to focus on their work or take a break. Why can't we as fans be wiser in dealing with the information circulating? On the other hand, this also shows that we as ARMY should not rely too much on BTS or big hit music to solve all the problems that arise. Our job as fans is to support, but also have the critical awareness to not only wait for clarification, but to find out and understand the issue thoroughly. It is time for us to build better digital awareness, not only to protect our idols, but also to keep our community healthy. If we continue to allow ourselves to fall into the same pattern of reactions, where every time fake news comes out we immediately seek clarification from our idols, we will continue to be in the same vicious cycle. Instead, we should be better examples for the younger generation to use social media wisely and intelligently. As fans, we have the power to combat fake news, but we have to start with ourselves.